WJLA TV. This is News 7 at 11.
Police say it looked like a war zone. This after a botched bank robbery erupts into a gun battle out west. And tonight we use our hidden camera to put a tough new anti-smoking law to the test. Hello everybody, I'm Carol Costello. Paul and Kathleen are off tonight. We begin tonight with the arrest of 3 suspects in the killing of D.C. police officer Oliver Smith. Tonight investigators say all 3 men have criminal pasts and should not have been out on the streets. News 7's Kathy Foster Johnson joins us from the newsroom now with the latest. Kathy?
Carol, all 3 suspects are being held without bond on first-degree murder charges, and while police continue their investigation, we're beginning to learn more about what happened that Wednesday morning when Officer Smith was shot and killed. Police say all 3 suspects approached Officer Oliver Smith with a handgun, ordered him to the ground, searched him, and knew he was a police officer before they murdered him in cold blood and fled in this vehicle. Following an intensive investigation, they arrested 29-year-old Donovan Sean Strickland, who at the time of his arrest was on pretrial release in connection with the assault of a Prince George's County police officer. 38-year-old Anthony Allen Crawley was apprehended in Northwest Washington. He was out on bond following an arrest last month involving distribution of a controlled dangerous substance. And 23-year-old Antoine Delonta Brown of Landover, Maryland, was arrested in Fairfax County and is believed to be the trigger man.
While still laying face down on the ground, Officer Smith was murdered, execution style, by 3 gunshot wounds at point-blank range to the back of his head.
Police say all 3 suspects had long criminal records, and Chief Farrell says Smith's murder could have been prevented. He blames part of the problem on the judicial system.
To see individuals that continually cycle through the system with relatively little punishment, to me, is a fraud on the public.
Officer Smith was in plain clothes and off duty when he was robbed and murdered outside his Forestville apartment complex Wednesday morning. His body was discovered next to his vehicle, stripped of his badge, wallet, and Glock semi-automatic issued handgun. Smith had been with the D.C. police force for 2.5 years. He leaves behind a wife and a 5-year-old son. Now, police plan to hold a candlelight vigil at D.C. Police headquarters tomorrow afternoon. Funeral services are scheduled for Monday for Officer Smith at First Baptist Church in Highland Park. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you very much. Kathy Foster Johnson reporting live from our newsroom tonight. While questions remain about the apparent suicide of Terrence Johnson, his brother is behind bars on charges of bank robbery. A judge today ruled no bail for Daryl Johnson. Also today, a coroner's report concluded Terrence Johnson did shoot himself in the head rather than surrender to police after robbing a bank in Aberdeen. Terrence Johnson was released from jail after serving 17 years for killing 2 Prince George's County police officers. His ambition to become a lawyer was recently sidetracked by financial difficulties.
I do believe that if Terrence took his life, that part of the equation probably was the guilt, the shame of having to let down so many, his family, the community at large.
The mother of one of the police officers killed by Johnson 20 years ago said tonight she never believed Johnson had reformed. Also tonight, police in Los Angeles are trying to piece together the puzzle of a bizarre and brazen bank robbery attempt that turned the streets of North Hollywood into a war zone. When it was over, 2 would-be bandits were dead and 9 police officers wounded. ABC's Lisa Salters has the latest.
The running gun battle began this morning in the parking lot of this North Hollywood bank. Looking like a military commando, one of the suspects seemed fearless as he opened fire on police outside the bank, while inside, civilians who had been locked inside a vault listened in horror and prayed for their own safety.
When I saw that big old gun, his face covered with a ski mask, I said, oh, these guys ain't, this is no joke. I just threw myself on the floor with the rest of them. And I was scared because, you know, they were shooting. I said, this is going to be the end here.
Back outside, as the bullets continued to fly, people began running for cover. At least 8 police officers were hit, as well as 3 bystanders.
You could hear horrendous gunfire, something a citizen like me never heard before, automatic weapon fire. You could feel the weight of the bullets going all around the area.
Though surrounded by police, one of the suspects tried to shoot his way out of trouble, only to be gunned down by officers. Another suspect, who at one point began shooting at TV helicopters as they hovered overhead, also tried to keep police at bay, firing round after round at the officers. Eventually cornered with no way of escape, he surrendered. Police spent the entire day combing the surrounding neighborhoods for more suspects. This afternoon, they used a battering ram to knock over a shed where they believed another gunman was holed up. But as day turned to night, the search had turned up nothing and was called off.
We're in the process of making sure that we have cleared all of the crime scenes that we know of right now, that there aren't any other weapons, incendiary devices, and before the detectives go through another work that's going to be done later on this evening.
Police say today's shootout was one of the worst in the city's history. The robbery gang was notoriously known by authorities. Police believe the gang was responsible for at least 2 other similar bank robberies in the area last year. Police admit that they were completely outgunned during the shootout. They had their standard-issue semi-automatic handguns, while the suspects were armed with assault rifles. One LAPD commander called it a horrendous gunfight, and he said it was pure luck that no officers or civilians were killed. Lisa Salters, ABC News, North Hollywood.
Question for you. Has Timothy McVeigh confessed to the Oklahoma City bombing? That's what the Dallas Morning News is claiming in headlines and on its webpage. The paper says it got a hold of a confidential defense team document. In that document, McVeigh described how he and Terry Nichols made the bomb and that the attack was set for daytime in order to ensure a large body count to make a point to the government. But tonight, one of McVeigh's lawyers says he told the paper they had a hoax on their hands.
And I said, well, that doesn't sound like anything that I'm familiar with, and I think if Mr. McVeigh had made such a statement to any member of the defense team, that I would certainly be aware of it. And I said, I think you all are being had.
Regardless, McVeigh's trial is set for the end of next month in Denver for the bombing which killed 168 people. A guilty plea tonight from a former FBI supervisor accused of spying for the Russians. Earl Pitts entered his plea in an Alexandria courtroom tonight. Pitts was snared in a 16-month undercover sting operation. He's charged with accepting more than $200,000 from Moscow for U.S. secrets beginning in 1987. The guilty plea makes it possible for the 43-year-old former agent to avoid a sentence of life in prison. And a U.S. attorney says she expects a guilty plea Monday from a former CIA station chief, Harold Nicholson. He's charged with selling secrets to Moscow for about $180,000. Nicholson's lawyers declined to comment tonight. The Texas cheerleader mom will be sleeping in her own bed tonight. A Houston judge ordered Wanda Holloway free today on probation. Holloway received a 10-year sentence last September after she admitted to hiring a hitman to kill the mother of her daughter's cheerleading rival. Prosecutors tried to block the decision, saying that Holloway needs psychological help. The cheerleader mom will have to complete 1,000 hours of community service. An American Airlines flight heading to Chicago ran into some turbulence this morning, leaving 5 passengers and 1 flight attendant injured. The plane apparently hit an air pocket during its flight from West Palm Beach, Florida. The jolt from the turbulence caused a few passengers to hit their heads on overhead compartments. Some crew members and passengers were knocked to the plane's floor. All injuries are being described as minor, though. A case of aggressive driving or a motorist who dozed at the wheel? That is the question for a grand jury meeting in Prince William County tonight. 2 people were killed in this crash on Route 28 near Nokesville on Wednesday. Witnesses say it was caused when an aggressive driver crossed a double yellow line to pass a slower vehicle. But the driver accused of causing the crash and leaving the scene tells police he drifted into the lane after falling asleep. A woman who wants her identity kept secret says he tried to get away.
I just feel real good because without that tag number, I don't think they would have had a clue to try to catch him.
As we said, a grand jury has been convened to determine whether involuntary manslaughter charges should be brought against the driver. He has not been arrested. And coming up on News 7, well, tough new rules to curb underage smoking work. Using our hidden camera, we look for answers. And you will hear from a price-conscious shopper who was arrested for trying to find the best price at Best Buy. But first, here's Jeff, or here's Ken. I'm sorry, Ken.
Take a pick. Guess what? I've been looking around. I found some more springtime temperatures. They're just around the corner. Let's check on sports now with Rene Knott.
Well, Ken, perhaps the most important sports event of the evening did not involve a ball or a puck, and it happened right here in D.C. I've got details coming up in sports.
I'm Ted Koppel. Coming up on Nightline, if beauty is only skin deep, how deep is our prejudice? The shades of success and the question of color, exposing America's dirty little secret. America in black and white tonight.
If you are under the age of 27 and want to buy cigarettes, you will have to present a photo ID. That's according to a new rule implemented by the FDA today. The new rule is aimed at reducing the amount of smokers under the age of 18. Well, earlier today, we sent a 24-year-old News 7 staffer out to buy cigarettes at area retailers. The results might be surprising to you. At many places, she was never asked for an ID. We confronted one gas station manager, and he had this to say.
No, she's the one? She's the one. No, she didn't come here.
Yes, she did. Yes. We were all here. We have it on
It's
tape.
me? It's me? You think of me? No.
Literally 15 minutes ago, I bought a pack of Winston Lights.
I didn't sell to you, man. I didn't see you.
The FDA is still working out how to enforce the new regulations, but if retailers are caught, they must pay $250. What's wrong with a little comparison shopping? At Best Buy, nothing, as long as you don't write anything down. Ronald Kalo learned that the hard way. It didn't matter if he used his laptop or paper. He got arrested twice for recording prices at a Best Buy store in Reston. But the Fairfax County judge threw out the trespassing charges, and now Kalo is suing Best Buy for $90 grand. He swears he didn't set out to be a bargain-hunting rebel.
When this thing befell me, it happened so rapidly, you know, I was in a total state of shock. And no, I did not go in there to be a rabble-rouser. I did not go in there to be a cause, but the cause was thrust upon me. And I think consumers have certain rights, and it comes a time when someone's got to say enough is enough.
Tonight, a vice president of marketing released a new statement saying Best Buy welcomes comparison shopping, but he still did not specify if that means customers can come in and write those prices down. We have some sad news tonight if you are a fan of the T-Bird. After poor sales, Ford is dropping its production of the classic car. The first T-Bird models rolled off the assembly line back in 1955 to compete with the Chevy Corvette. It went from a two-seat Sportster to a larger sports coupe in the 70s. But recently, sales have given way to sport utility vehicles and imports. But don't panic. Ford hopes to reintroduce a new Thunderbird after the year 2000. Coming up, your weekend forecast. Plus, you'll see what happens when some snow melts in the Midwest. And a bit later, will the cards stack up? We'll have a record-breaking update.
Tonight's News 7 weather report is brought to you by Western Union.
Another nice, warm, spring-like February day. Can't we just skip over March and go to April?
We almost might.
Yeah.
We'll be in the 70s again by Sunday.
Great.
Back up in the low to mid-70s. That's not bad. We showed you snow in Arizona yesterday, snow in Hawaii today. Now the next sign of spring. Take a look at this. Cleveland, Illinois. And this is what happens when spring weather comes in. A combination of rain and thaw. And you get the flooding. Now this is kind of localized. Not everybody out in the Midwest is suffering from this, but it is serious. And as the ice jams break up, you can see huge chunks of ice floating down the flooded rivers, and they take their toll. They take out bridges, they can destroy houses and farm areas. It's really nasty there, and it's not getting any better. The chance now is that we'll get heavy rain in that area. That will just compound the whole problem. What kind of a day did we have today? How about a 66 for a high? Not anywhere near the record, but not bad, really. And when you compare it to the record low of 1 below 0, not bad at all. 53 now, 57%. Winds are calm, and the barometer is rising. Watch the satellite picture. This is moisture streaming up this way, and we've had the clouds all day. Rain did stay south of us, but now here's the next batch. There's the stuff that stayed south. This is the next area in here. Watch this. This is what came close to us, a little over an inch in Richmond, but as it moves on out of the way, look at the next stuff. This is tomorrow's rain, all lined up through Illinois and through parts of Kentucky and Tennessee and heading for West Virginia now. This is what it looks like on the national radar summary. The stuff that stayed south of us is here, and here's the next area moving in. We're over here, in case you've lost us for a moment. This doesn't necessarily indicate big washout heavy rain, but it does say we should have rain and drizzle off and on during the day. See the red line? That's warm air heading this way, and by tomorrow it'll be even closer, and by Sunday it'll pass us by. The effect will be to push temperatures back up into the 70s. By tomorrow we'll be in the 60s and generally in the 50s, some 60s around the area as well. So tonight, lots of clouds, as you can see, with light winds and a low temperature of 42. 61 tomorrow. That's not bad, above normal. We'll have some periods of rain, maybe a shower or two on Sunday. 73. Monday and Tuesday, I'm looking for partly sunny skies, temperatures dropping into the 50s, then back up into the 60s once again. And if you're wondering where we go from there, we're getting into a mixture of sun and clouds Wednesday and Thursday, and by Friday, although we may have some rain, we'll be right up near 60 again.
Unbelievable. You know, like on March 15th, we're going to get blasted by like 1,000 inches of snow. I just have that feeling.
We'll have to wait and see. I'll write that down and keep it in mind.
Yeah, my prediction.
Inches of snow.
Well, that was a little exaggeration. It would be a record. It would beat out last year.
And at that time, I'd be moving to Hawaii the very next day.
I'll bet you.
Coming up, the Caps try to keep their Ducks in a row against Anaheim. Hockey highlights are on the way. Plus, Chris Webber and others from the world of sports get together at Howard University for a very important town meeting. Details are next.
Well, at tennis, you have white female.
Rene Knott in with sports, and I guess some sports players were talking intellectually and philosophically tonight.
Very enlightening and somewhat confrontational evening tonight, but one that we all could probably learn from. Long before Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. The year 1947, 50 years ago. Since, African Americans have progressed yet remained stagnant in sports in some ways. Tonight, a special town meeting addressed the issues of race relations in sports. ABC's Ted Koppel moderated a panel at Howard University. The discussion was heated and insightful. Bullet Chris Webber defended the decision of African American athletes to go pro early.
Was that when I grew up? Or at tennis, you have white females or white males at the age of 15, 16, or 17 who don't even go to high school, who have teachers on the road with them, and therefore they say that we're the ones leaving school early. I think that what we have to do is sit back and look at the reality of it. There are not black writers writing these stories. There are not black people commentating shows like this. We don't have that power yet.
Now, as we sit here tonight and we look out here and we talk in black and white, which there is no black and white exclusively, we have to look at the African American, the power that we have, and the things that we have not done. Chris, if you get with Michael Jordan and all of those very powerful individuals, we can make changes across this country that would be unbelievable.
I want to get to... Tonight's edition of Nightline has more on race relations in America. The program begins right after News 7 at 11. Well, once again, a power shortage by the Capitals offense. 25 shots on goal, produced only one score tonight. That's 3 less than the mighty Ducks. Defense setting it off for Washington. The theft. Jason Allison is denied on the getaway, but Andrew Burnett has his back. 1 zip Caps. It's all Ducks from there, though. Anaheim with 4 unanswered goals. Watch the Ducks avoid the defense. Caps sprawl out on the ice, but can't stop Teemu Selanne. Caps win 4-1. Or actually, it was the Ducks winning 4-1. He's no longer interim. Richie Adubato is head coach of the Orlando Magic. The Magic hosting San Antonio tonight. Nick Anderson pushing it up the court. But a seeping through a hot biscuit. Then to Scott with the finish. Brother against brother. Gerald Wilkins facing Dominique. Memories of those days on the playground. Gerald wins this one. 94-73 Magic the final. Orlando's 6th win in a row. The Lady Terrapins putting their hands together. Maryland facing 25th ranked Duke in the ACC tournament. 30 seconds to go in regulation. Duke down by 3 and looking for a shot. Kira Orr has one. Money. The game goes into overtime. Duke takes it down low. Ty Hall off the glass for the deuce. 25th ranked Duke pulls it off 60-52. More sports on the other end, a much-deserved recognition for Reston and a tough day for the Birds. As we go to break, Tiger Woods a bit off the mark at the Nissan Open. 4! Tiger's approach to number 3 finds the gallery. Now watch the fan try to get away from it. The Wood shot a 70 today and is 5 shots behind tournament leader Don Pooley. We'll be right back. The Omni Shoreham Hotel in D.C., the place to be for football fans tonight. The NFL Players Association holding its 24th annual banquet. Redskin Derek Brownlow on hand to receive one of the Unsung Hero Awards. He led the Skins on special teams with 27 tackles. A rough first outing of the spring for Orioles pitcher Scott Erickson today. O's and Marlins. Whack! Jim Eisenreich dropped one into shallow center field. Gary Sheffield scores. The Marlins hit Erickson up for 5 runs in just 2 innings. Devon White goes the other way here. Florida wins it 11-2. Good news? The games don't count. Emotional moment before the Yankees-Cards game. Frank Torrey, the brother of Yankees manager Joe Torre, tosses out the first pitch. Frank underwent heart transplant surgery last October. Cecil Fielder wants to be traded. This is what possible employers want to see. The big man puts it beyond the field of play. A 3-run homer. Yankees win it 7-3. But once again, the good news for the Orioles, it doesn't start counting for some time yet.
You're not kidding. Thank you,
Make your
Rene.
mistakes now.
We have a breaking story to tell you about. This is just in. Authorities in Georgia have found a cache of 16 bombs in a house outside of Atlanta. The owner of the house reportedly shot at police as they tried to arrest him. Police say there is no indication at this time that the bombs are related to the abortion clinic bombing or the Olympic bombing or last week's bombing of a gay nightclub. Of course, we'll have more on this story as it develops on Good Morning Washington. We'll be right back. We have a glimpse of a gambler's dream home, a house built of cards. Brian Berg is about to break his 6th consecutive Guinness World Record by building the largest card house ever. His creation will stand just under 20 feet. Berg started building card houses at the age of 8 with his grandfather. He is an architecture student, how apropos, over at Iowa State University, but says making cards or building houses out of cars would be a gamble. He's going to do the real thing. Got that?
I got it.
Got that. Here's a fun way to raise money for the arts with an evening of jazz and romance. And that was the theme of an event tonight benefiting the Reston Institute for the Arts. And look who was there as the MC. Will we see him? There he is, our own Del Walters. Among other things, the Reston Institute provides a variety of programs for young people in theater, art, and dance. It's funny that Del was there because, you know, he refuses to dance. He refuses.
Is that right?
Yeah. I bet he'd be good at it, too.
What's that one they do?
The Macarena?
Yeah. I thought
no,
that would
he
be
absolutely refuses to do that.
Next 7 days, what's coming up? Mild weather is going to stay with us. That's what's coming up, with some rain tomorrow and off and on occasionally on Sunday before the skies clear. And then we get some sunshine in here. Temperatures stay in the upper 50s and low 60s. Look at that, 73 for Sunday. That's hard to beat. That'll be, what, 2 or 3 days just this past week with 70s?
I just hope it lasts forever and ever.
Couldn't beat that. And my idea of winter.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Good night, everyone. Stay tuned for ABC News Nightline.